welcome to day 3 of Vlogmas. I have not chatted to you since Monday. Today is now Wednesday and it's been a rough couple of days. I had an appointment yesterday with my surgeon to follow up some swelling that I'm experiencing, which is very persistent and very uncomfortable. And she tried to alleviate that swelling, and that process always leaves me feeling really drained and sore. So I've not been feeling very good. I was a bit stressed about it yesterday before I went, and then quite sore since I've been back from that appointment. So it's now Wednesday afternoon, it's 5 p.m, it's almost 5:30 p.m. actually, and I just thought I would sit down and quickly open my Advents, because I did not open my Advent yesterday and I haven't opened today's yet either. So I thought it would be fun, bring a bit of joy to the day to do that with you. I've got my Daffodil Road, The Colour of Music Advent, and this is day 2. And today's musical is, or yesterday's, this is yesterday's, was Singing in the Rain. And so there's a QR code again. I was watching my friend Kath from the Mindful Melbourne Maker this morning, her Vlogmas from yesterday, and she actually showed the QR code, which I don't think is a problem because it just takes you to a YouTube site with the actual song. So I thought I would share that with you today. I don't know if that's close enough. There we go. So if you wanted to hear the song, hopefully you've been able to screenshot that, and you can also check out that QR code. It's Singing in the Rain. And let's see what colour this is. Excuse any crinkles you might hear. Pretty, look at that. So it's like a purpley blue. Very gorgeous, very, very pretty indeed. And without further ado, let's open up day 3. Now day 3 seems to have something a little bit fun to go with it. And I'll explain why in a second. I haven't opened any of this yet. But day 3 is Wonka. So I'm assuming it's the new Wonka movie rather than the original Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And I will show you that QR code too. So there's today's musical for Wonka. And because it's Wonka, there's a golden ticket in today's parcel, or today's package, today's surprise. So I will open the yarn first, and then let's have a look at my golden ticket. Oh, I peeked. So it's going in a bit of a gradient, and this one has much more purple in it than yesterday's, and it is so pretty. A bit of blue, a bit of plum, sort of purple. So there's yesterday's compared to today's. They are stunning. So that is very fun. I've just been attaching these numbers to the skeins so that I know which one's from which day. Very convenient having the little light bulb stitch marker with the tag. And I'm looking forward to listening to those songs as well. So that's very fun. They're very beautiful. Now let's have a look at the golden ticket. So it says, to the lucky holder of this golden ticket, scratch the gold panel to reveal your prize. Major prizes. There are 3 major prizes of $50 Crystal Cat Stitchery vouchers, and there's a second chance draw, $80 Daffodil Road yarn gift voucher. And the winner will be announced of that second chance draw on the 4th of December today. Not sure how that works. I will scratch it and I'll have a look. So that's the golden ticket there. And I'm going to have to do a scratchy scratch there. Find out if I'm the winner. I better go find a coin. That's very cool. Okay, I'm going to scratch away. Oh, I see how this works. There is actually a number on each of these tickets. And it looks like I'm in the second chance draw. And my number is 71. I think it said 71, yes, 71. So if 71 is announced, then that will be me. So that's very, very fun, very exciting. Congratulations to you if you won, or to whoever won, because that major prize would have been very exciting to scratch off for that person, I'm sure. Very fun. Now, the other thing I wanted to chat with you about quickly, hopefully quickly, is that I would have shown you some footage. I've actually wound up my Freckled Whimsy yarn, and it's looking very pretty, and actually have cast on the first cuff. It's just a cast on at this point. And so my usual process is that I cast on a 9-inch circular. I will work the first round of the ribbing on the 9-inch circular, and that just helps me to not stress about twisting my stitches. Twisting my stitches, that's not the right word. Not twisting my knitting when I join in the round on Magic Loop, because I do find that it's only happened to me once, but I know it's a risk, and it's something that's always in the back of my mind. I really enjoy casting on in the round in this format, where I don't have to worry about the stitches being twisted, because it's really easy to see that they're all facing the same way on the inside of that needle, which hopefully is showing up for you as well. So yeah, once I knit that first round, then I will actually use my 2.25mm US 1 ChowGoo 80 centimetre or 32-inch cables, and I will Magic Loop this pair. So I did do a little bit of sorting out of my needles recently just to make sure I knew where all of my fixed circulars are, because I've bought so many of these over the years, and it comes to Vlogmas and I need 4 needles for 4 socks, plus whatever socks I already have on the needles, and it's sometimes a little tricky to find the same types of needle for the same project. I like to knit, so this pair will be knit the same, and I like to knit them concurrently, so I needed 2 sets of US 1 2.25mm needles, and I found them, so that's wonderful. But yes, first off, I've cast on the cuff, and yeah, hopefully be able to catch up on the stripes. I did catch up on my cozy knitter stripes before I got up this morning. I felt really awful this morning. I stayed in bed for a lot longer than usual. I actually ended up taking the day off work today because I felt so poorly this morning. And yeah, it's been good to be able to rest and take it really slow today. So that's been really nice. And I think the only other thing I wanted to share with you right now, I mean, there's lots I could share with you, but let's keep this brief. I wanted to show you my Sourdough socks. So I am currently hosting the Sourdough Socks Cal. Now, I released the Sourdough Socks pattern back in August. This year it was my first ever pattern release. And I talked about this on my last episode, I think, and definitely have a lot of information on my Instagram page about the knit along. The lovely Erica from Yarnacopia, together with Ailsa from We Are Wool People, dyed a bunch of custom colorways for a number of the Australian YouTubers, and this is the colorway that they dyed for me, which I have shown before, or the sock set that they dyed for me, and it is called, my label says Red Fox Glacier, but I feel like that did get slightly changed when it went on sale. Now, these are no longer available for purchase. They were a limited release. But it's a beautiful fingering weight 4-ply sock base. The yarn is dyed by Ailsa from We Are Wool People, and it's a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon base, and that's a really lovely base for me to work with. It's actually the same base that I do my cuffs for my Cozy Knitter Advent skeins. I have bare yarn from Nundle Woolen Mills that I use every year for my heels, toes and cuffs. So I'm very familiar with this base, and it's working up quite lovely in my pattern. And yeah, so I've actually been working on this a little bit and did finish the heel flap last night. I don't think I recorded any of that, but I did finish the heel flap yesterday. I really was not feeling great last night. And this is how it's looking so far. And then there's the heel flap, and I'm on to the foot. Now, the Sourdough Socks knit along is running up until the 31st of December. and I will be drawing some winners in the new year for some prizes that have been kindly donated. Now I do have an amazing project bag. I'll pop an overlay of that project bag while I'm speaking so you can have a look at it. But Crystal Cat Stitchery has donated an amazing project bag, and it is so lovely. There'll be the project bag and there'll be some yarn as prizes, and I'm really excited to draw that winner. Basically anyone who is participating and knitting my pattern, and you don't have to be knitting it in the Yarnacopia yarn given that it's no longer available, but if you do have a Yarnacopia base you get an extra bonus entry. So if you're knitting these socks, pop a post up on Instagram and make sure you tag Soroto Socks Cal. I think that is the hashtag we decided on, and tag me in it so I can see it as well. I don't always see the hashtags, but tag me and I will be able to see your entry and make sure that you're in the running to win one of the amazing prizes that has been donated for us. I am actually holding this current project in my Shan's Yarns bag that I picked up at Bendigo this year, just because it's so compact and lovely and it just makes me happy. So that's a lot of fun. One thing I didn't talk about are the project bags that I picked out for my Advent Socks projects. So for my Freckled Whimsy, I did pick out, I just went into my stash this year. I have not purchased any new project bags for Christmas. I have quite a few. So this year I am using Patil Knit's Christmas bag from a few years ago. And it's this beautiful, beautiful quilted bag with some gorgeous forest animals, and I love the colours of this. And for my Cozy Knitter socks, which are not here right now, they're in the other room, I'm using one of the first Christmas project bags that I ever bought, and that was a bag by Sandy by the Lakeside, and it has gnomes on it, so you know, it's gorgeous. And I love that the yarn is from Canada and the bag is also from Canada. It's lovely to be able to match those things up and use them together. And because I do have a lot of project bags, I'm really happy to use these up and reminisce when I first purchased them, when I first started to knit. When I bought that gnome bag, I think I'd only been knitting for maybe 6 months at the time. So very excited to pull that out of hibernation and get to use it again. I might leave the chattiness for today there because I'm still not feeling amazing, but knitting helps. Knitting is such a lovely, slow, gentle process for me and brings me so much joy. I'm glad you're here to share that with me, and I hope you're enjoying what you're knitting and feeling amazing. It's lunchtime on day 4 of Vlogmas, and I am going to cast on my second Freckled Whimsy sock. So I did want to show you in daylight what I managed to do last night. So this is days 1 to 3 of the Freckled Whimsy Advent sock, and I am going to cast on the second one. So hopefully I can get that done before my lunch break ends. I've just finished eating. I had some lovely sourdough bread with a fried egg and some cheese. I just feel like I need some good protein these days, otherwise I end up getting very snackish and that's not great. So when I cast on my socks, I usually just measure 1.5 arm lengths, and I use a German twisted cast on, which I find is really super stretchy. And this is not meant to be a tutorial. I just thought I'd check in with you guys now before the workday is over and I am exhausted. So I thought I would have a quick chat while I'm casting on. I don't think you can actually see what I'm doing. So yeah, just casting on there. And I like to cast on a 56 stitch sock on in fingering weight yarn for myself. I have realised, and I've talked about this on my podcast, that I am quite a relaxed knitter. Someone used the word relaxed the other day. Might have been Molly from A Homespun House. Essentially, my tension is pretty loose. So that's probably why I can get away with a 56 stitch sock rather than the 64 stitch sock. Although my ankles and my feet are quite narrow, so that also would contribute to that. But yeah, usually just knit myself a 56 stitch sock, the smallest size in an adult sock pattern, and have never had that go wrong. And my gauge does change, like it doesn't stay super consistent. I do find that it can vary quite a lot, which I find quite interesting. I learnt to do the German twisted cast on from a tutorial I found by Andrea Mowry. If I can find it, I'll link it below for you. I do find it is the best cast on for socks. And it just, for me, it's completely mindless. I don't have to think about it at all, which is great. Probably close. So I usually find my tail's still pretty long, so I probably still need a few more stitches. But yeah, once I can stretch it out on a 9-inch circular from tip to tip, I'm usually pretty much there. But I do find my tail still a bit longer than it was when I did yesterday's cast on. I generally use the same amount of tail to cast on, so yeah, if I can at least get this cast on before I need to log back in for work, that would be great. And then I can catch up on this second sock tonight. So then I will have all 4 on the go and just 1 stripe on each sock every day. Because right now I have 3 stripes that I need to do on the existing socks, plus 4 stripes and the cuff on my 4th sock. So I feel like most of my knitting time will be dedicated to this project today. I am working on some other things as well though. I am trying to finish up my Lauder vest by the Crayabaya. I have the bind off to do. I'm almost done, and I thought I'd be able to get it done before Vlogmas started, but it just didn't happen. And I also really want to finish my One Love shawl. I think that's what it's called. It was the Mystery Knit Along by Joji Locatelli that was run in November. I, in theory, should have 2 rows left and the bind off based on the pattern, but I have quite a bit of yarn left over, so I think I will need to make it a little bit bigger, and I need to decide what to do with that. So my hope, my ideal would be that when I finish work today, I can knit the cuff, knit my 4 stripes, and then my other 4 stripes on my other socks, we shall see, and maybe get some progress on either the One Love or maybe bind off my Lauder. I always think that I'll be much faster than I really am with knitting, so we shall see how much progress I make today. I've been longing, been so lonely, wishing you could hold me now. I've been trying, I'm in denial that I am gonna be alright. But under the stars, I close my eyes and think of you. Although you're far away, we're under the same stars. Good morning and welcome to day 6 of Vlogmas. I haven't spoken to you for a little while, but I thought I'd just quickly check in. I'm about to put on a sourdough loaf and I thought I would just check in quickly. I'm using actually something new. I've actually popped it on the bread already, but I'm about to take the bread out of the banneton. But I'm trying one of these silicone bread mats, I think that's what they're called, to bake my loaf in, because I feel like using the parchment paper is just getting so wasteful. So I thought I'd invest in one to try it out. And that arrived in the mail this week. So I'm interested to see how that will work. Now I am hosting an event today. My sister had a significant birthday at the start of November, and today we are doing something special with her. My mum and I and her are getting together with a colour analyst. And so she's coming to do our colours for us. So I'm really excited about that. I hope my sister loves the day. But I baked some banana bread last night as morning tea. I'm baking a loaf of sourdough now. I'm about to pop it in the oven. And I just need to prep some food. I still need to get dressed. My hair's done. Everything else is done. But I just need to put out some platters and things. And yeah, because I haven't chatted with you for a while, I just thought I'd quickly check in. I didn't open Advents yesterday, so I'll do that once everything is settled for today. And I don't know how much footage I'll be able to get during the day. We're going to be obviously socializing, and I don't really want to take away from the time I'm spending with my family. But I'll see if I can capture any little snippets for you. And I can't wait to share with you what that ends up looking like, what our colours end up being, and whether it's what we expected or not. So yeah, let's see what the day brings, and let's see if this mat works. I think that'll be okay. I've seen these used on other people's Instagram reels, so I'm interested to see how it works. I'm going to score it. And I'm just doing a simple score at the moment. And I'm going to get the pot out. Was so much fun. We had such a good time. The three of us each got our colors done, and we got to try some of the makeup and try different sort of color combinations on ourselves, which was really interesting and such an enjoyable day. I highly recommend that if you're after a fun girly day, group activity with your girlfriends or with your mum or with your sister or with both your mum and your sister. It's definitely a really fun day. I think the best part of it was that we did it together, so we could sort of see the effect of colours on each other as well as on ourselves. And I think for myself, I already had a pretty good idea of where I sat on these colour sort of analyses. And I was validated in that. And I guess now I have this palette to play with. And so when I'm choosing yarn, when I'm choosing outfits, it's going to be so much easier for me to choose the right colors. The light's coming in and out. I just realized that the sun has gone behind a cloud and it has changed the lighting in here significantly. So it might come back, but I just really wanted to show you my color palette. I was matched to what they call the exotic color palette. Now this color system, Shorty's just walking through the house. Sorry about the click clacking. I haven't put my microphone on today. But this color system is a little bit different to what I think we're all familiar with from social media, with the soft autumns and the warm warm summers or whatever they are called. I don't even know what they're called. But I actually had sort of matched myself to a soft autumn, and based on my color selection, that's basically exactly what I am. But the color itself, there were so many more palettes. There were about, I'm not sure exactly how many flags we got draped across us, but there were maybe 6 or 7 warm palettes and the same amount of cool palettes, which was really interesting to see how, even though you might have a warm undertone, which is what I have, the palette, the saturation or the color value of that palette will change your complexion so drastically. It's really fun. I'm not an expert. I literally just spent a few hours with this lady listening to her tell my sister, my mum and myself what worked for us and showing us what worked for us, and us even seeing it was really interesting. But yeah, highly recommend that if you're after a fun activity. So the person that did it for us was Lizzie Eden. So I thought I'd share her details. If you're in the Adelaide area, highly recommend her. It was really great. And this is my palette, which is called Exotic. And so each one of these colors should work for me, does work for me. And it was really fun to see even like the contrast values and various combinations of colors that we should be putting together for ourselves, and explaining a bit of that color theory was really invaluable. So yeah, what I really want to do is use this when I'm buying yarn for garments in particular. Obviously checking those online can be a little bit tricky because I do buy a lot of my yarn online, but I've got a few projects lined up that I want to cast on. One in particular that I was meant to cast on in November and it just hasn't happened yet. And I have a yarn that I think I need to pull it out. I think it's similar to this color. It's called Russet. And I'll have to pull that out to see if that's accurate. But I want to see if that's the color that it is, because I'm really excited to cast that on, and I just want to validate that I made a good choice with my yarn selection, because that is really pretty. And I have a feeling it might be a little bit different, but it's fine. It will definitely help me to choose correctly in future, hopefully. Not correctly, but more aligned. And that's the other fun thing that she sort of explained here, that, you know, this is a guideline. If you have colors that you like wearing, that you feel good wearing, that aren't exactly in this color palette, you can sort of you can sort of be across multiple palettes, or I was sort of on the cusp of 2 of them. But this one aligned better to me at the moment. And the other thing that determines it is your hair color. As soon as you change your hair color, it kind of changes the way these colors look on you. Your undertone will always be warm or cool, but in terms of the palette itself, it can shift a little bit. So, such an interesting day, so fun. Again, not an expert, just sharing my experience. Have you had your colors done? Did it tell you what you thought you were, or did you learn something completely new about yourself? Very interesting stuff. So while I'm here, and before I do the dishes, because I need to clean up, tidied everything up back here, still need to put a couple of leftovers away and do a couple of dishes. And then I'm going to sit down and do some knitting, because it is now 7 p.m. It's been a big day, fun day though. Very, very tired, and looking forward to taking a seat and doing some knitting, because I barely knit yesterday. I fell asleep on the couch really early last night. I was very tired. Had a pretty bad day yesterday. So really looking forward to sitting down. But before I do that, and before I keep rambling some more, let's open up days 5 and 6 of my Daffodil Road Advent Calendar. So day 5 is Mary Poppins. Oh, that's fun. That's the QR code if you want to listen to the song. There's more than yarn in today. I just spilled something, but let's have a look at the yarn first. Ooh, pretty. The purples are just stunning. And there's an extra in here. Oh, it's a beautiful teaspoon with a musical note and a tea bag. It's fair trade sugar, actually. I don't think it's a tea bag. I think it's sugar. I should have read that before I showed it to you. But that is very, very lovely. And then day 6, we have My Fair Lady as the song of the day, or as the movie of the day. So there'll be a song from My Fair Lady to listen to. I peeked. Here's the colour. This is gonna be a beautiful gradient. And I'm going to need to pick out a project. It's actually a bit darker than yesterday's. So this is today's day 6. This is yesterday's day 5. Very, very nice. I better not mix those up. So I want to put the tags back on them, make sure they flow through the gradient correctly. Okay, I'm gonna leave you guys there for today. I'm not gonna talk to you again, I don't think, because I'm really just wanting to actually get into my comfortable pajamas and get on that couch once I've tidied up the rest of this kitchen.